All right, we are live and we are doing this again, part 2. Let's go. X20 doesn't work over here. We'll go X20 here. We simplified our X20 prompt. Analyze max feed, review the latest 150 posts, select the top 20 highest signal posts and return them in order of signal strength. Now, the interesting thing is, actually it's pretty much looking at the same content. Whoa. Recently closed tabs. Okay, this is recently closed tabs in browser history. Wow, my browser history is going crazy now. Reviewing your tabs in browser history, analyzing X feed to identify the most significant posts. Okay. And now it's starting to extract, define a simple signal score, likes, repost, replies, views, normalize views to thousands. Okay. Account for hidden metrics by approximating with visible badges. If exact counts hidden, scroll until at least 150 distinct posts are collected. Then rank by signal score descending and return the top 20 with a metadata and computed score. Provide direct permalinks for each. Wow, pretty good. Load with fresh engagement. I'm collecting posts with good engagement metrics and can see several high performing posts. I need to continue scrolling to reach at least 150. I don't know if it's actually looking for content, interesting content. I hope it, I don't know, it didn't. We should have said ignore the noise. Select the top 20, ignore the noise and select the top 20 highest signal posts. Return them in order of signal strength. Some very high engagement posts. Millions of views, thousands of engagement. Let me continue scrolling to ensure I have sufficient data for the analysis. We should have said ignore the noise. Ignore the noise is important. But anyways, this is very interesting. We are doing a part 2. Very exciting stuff. Now this is how we're going to start all our streams. Let's see. I'll also do F20 over here. F20 is pretty much the same. It's going to go into forecaster. All right. 150 plus posts from your X home timeline and rank the top 20 by a composite signal score. Okay. Exact counts were partially hidden, approximated from visible badges. Okay, now that it has got into these mathematics, it's actually bad. Okay. Trump and White's renovation crew into Oval Office. Created as IQ booster. Proton VPN Afghanistan load. Introducing Mocha app builder for the 99%. For some reason, I don't like this. I feel like the earlier was simple. Analyze max feed, review the latest 150 posts, select the top 20. Ignore the noise and give me the top 20 highest signal posts. I think this should be it. Analyze max feed, review the latest 150 posts, ignore the noise, and give me the top 20 highest signal posts. This should be it. This should be it. Yeah, I just don't like the formatting of all of that. Like, yeah, when you get into this complicated stuff, that just looks very weird to me. Analyze max feed, review the latest 150 posts, ignore the noise, and give me the top 20 highest signal posts. I think it should be simple. Yes, it should be simple. We also have F20. We'll update that. Forecaster feed. Okay, perfect. Let's see how the forecasters thing is looking. Okay, this is still better. What happened? ETH chart. High traction market discussion thread around ETH's move with an embedded chart and very active replies. What happened? Someone walked in with a snack, and the PC decided to cosplay as a laser. Image reads monitor, ejects a neon green beam with a serious face, likely just a goofy drawing meme. RGB went rogue. If this were real, unplug the monitor, move away, call an electrician, otherwise aesthetic chaos achieved. Interesting. Moonpappy.eth, visual heavy clank, constant clanker ecosystem. How is this high signal? It's just looking at engagement. Yeah, we don't want that. We want you to analyze the content. This is the interesting part, which we are seeing now, that if we start giving signal strength, it looks at the things that can be evaluated, that can be measured, and that gives a bad response. Meta leaderboard. Motivation of the image, high resonance and replies. The feminine urge to make it a top 3 once you get kind of close. Yeah, this is really bad. Do F20. Rank them by composite high signal score, prioritize originality, non-mimetic, risk-sharing, informational density, relevance to. Okay, really cool. When you don't give it any, what do we say? This is so beautiful. The formatting is beautiful. Okay. So interesting. Top 20 high signal posts from your latest X-Feed scan, prioritize for originality, information density, relevance to AI, startup design, product design, investing, credible authors. Filter on ads, low content memes, pure fluff. When you just say high signal, it understands what you need. This is so interesting. The more complicated you make, the worse the response. Wow. It didn't work for the timestamps. With the timestamps, I had to make it very specific, because also there were specific instructions that, okay, give me the first line as timestamps, make sure that it is in this format, and blah, blah, blah. But over here, look at this. It's so nice. All right. Apple explores using, we'll put this back, push this back. All right. Mark Gurman, Apple explores using Google Gemini to power a revamped Siri-wide side signal, potentially major platform shift for an on-device assistance and model distribution power dynamics. Very high signal. Apple is now in exploratory discussions with Google about using Gemini to power a revamped version of Siri. Oh my God. Robert Scoble argues that it makes sense for Apple to strike an AI deal with Google. He says it would benefit holodeck spatial computing fans, bringing Google Genie 3 to Apple Vision Pro. Google's stronger AI ecosystem ad network, in-house AI chips, Waymo versus Tesla, Uber, taxi losers, NVIDIA, and OpenAI. He doubts any Apple-Elon Musk deal, says industry execs told him Tim Cook wouldn't allow Musk's influence. Apple culturally dislikes Google but dislikes Meta more, citing past job Zuckerberg tensions and privacy concerns. Notes Apple's timeline for AI glasses by 2027, positioning against potential consumer device moves by Sam Altman. Apple-Google duopoly similar to Microsoft Intel. If the deal happens, discloses he owns Apple and Google stock. The thread references a news post claiming Apple is exploring Google Gemini for a revamped Siri in 2026. Interesting. What were the past job Zuckerberg tensions? Philosophical and business differences, although Jobs and Zuckerberg had a mentor-mentee relationship in Facebook's early days. Apple and Facebook often clash at the negotiation table. Jobs once gave Zuckerberg management advice and respected his vision for Facebook, but this did not prevent corporate rivalry. Apple's emphasis on privacy and its restrictive policies for developers, which Zuckerberg, especially in recent years, criticized as arbitrary and as harming companies like Meta, specifically attacked Apple's 30% App Store commission restrictive device integration policy, stating that Apple prioritized profits and hindered competition. I mean, it's very weird when Zuckerberg says something like that, but it's like, again, it's all about perspective. You were doing the same thing with WhatsApp. You're doing the same thing in WhatsApp, and now you're criticizing Apple to do that. I mean, Yeah, it's like the balance of profits and ethics. There were also broader philosophical differences. Jobs and Apple focused on privacy, security, and a walled garden ecosystem, while Zuckerberg's Meta prioritized rapid growth, data-driven business models, and openness. Okay, interesting. Very high signal. Mistral AI. All right, finally we have an update from Mistral. Medium 3.1 lands top spots on IM Arena leaderboard, number one English, top three coding, long queries. Whilst a high signal indicates small model competitiveness, cost, perfection implications. Way above its weight, number one English, no style control, second overall, no style control. Top three in coding and long queries, eighth overall. Small model, big impact right now on Lucia and the API. Text arena. Oh wow, I thought it was excellent. Best in class. Instruction following. Great to see the metrics. Also agree. Though I hate IM Arena. Congrats. Is IM Arena a good benchmark or leaderboard to look at? I don't know what's the right question. Benchmarking platform for AI language models where models compete head-to-head in user-driven blind comparisons and crowd-voted results. Leaderboard influential in the AI community. Here's what you should know. Transparent user-powered ranking is shaped by real users supporting, creating a dynamic crowdsourced platform. Blind testing models are anonymized in each matchup, helping mitigate some biases. Winner-loser matchup shift ranking so new and strong models can rise quickly. Open participation. Developers and researchers can contribute models, making it broader than some closed benchmarks. Potential for gaming. Studies from MIT, Stanford, and others have highlighted ways large providers can submit multiple variants privately and only publish their best performing version, artificially boosting leaderboard positions. Data contamination. Trained on the same test data, arena contamination giving an unfair advantage and leading to inflated scores. Systemic bias. Proprietary closed models might get more visibility and sampling, while open source models may be underrepresented. Opaque or unspoken policies on private testing and selective score removal. Overfitting, specifically tuned for IM Arena performance rather than general real-world prowess, leading to a leaderboard illusion. Community skepticism. Advanced users and researchers sometimes recommend alternate or supplemental benchmarks, not wholly trustworthy as a sole or scientific source for true model capability. Interesting. What are the biggest criticism of as a company and their products? Abandoning open source ideals. Mistral was originally lauded for its open source strengths, but has since moved some of its most advanced models, Mistral, large behind APIs or paywalls. Compared by critics to OpenAI and seen as a betrayal by parts of the OpenAI community. Some see their partnership with Microsoft and willingness to offer exclusive access to large players as undermining commitments to European AI sovereignty. Safety and content risk. Recent audits reveal that some Mistral models are much more likely than leading competitors to generate harmful, unsafe, or even illegal content when prompted by adversarial users. Child sexual exploitation material and guidance on chemical biological weapons, sometimes dozens of times more likely than peers. Acknowledge their findings and claims to be addressing them, but these issues have put a spotlight on the moderation safety practices. Lack of transparency. More funding and government contracts critics point to a lack of clarity about its long-term mission, technical safeguards, and governance. Data protection. Respond to investor pressure, particularly given its crucial role in European digital strategy. Limited ecosystem and user experience. Considered less fully featured and less customizable than those from competitors like OpenAI. Yeah, this is just a website, I think. The ecosystem is less mature with fewer plugins and integrations, putting more technical burden on enterprise users. Technical limitations. Less refined and conversation require more technical know-how for fine-tuning and deployment compared to alternatives like ChatGPT. Controversial partnerships drew scrutiny from the EU on competition sovereignty grounds and generated fears that European AI innovation might come under US tech dominance, repeating patterns seen with OpenAI. Technical talent, speed, and European focus, but these criticisms are shaping its reputation and acceptance in the competitive AI landscape. Very interesting. Okay, Greg Brockman. Difficult skill bot. This has been really high signal. Just like removing all that bullshit, let's say, of signal strength and like measuring the numbers. Just saying it that, hey, what do you think is high signal? Just give me high signal, and it figuring out for itself that okay, for originality, informational density, relevance to AI startups, product design, investing. Really cool work. I hope the same thing shows up over here as well. Yes, this is really good. We don't want like Forecaster especially has become really bad because I have the only thing I see now on Forecaster is like coins and stuff, and that is really bad. I don't want that. Greg Brockman. Difficult skill for both humans and AI coding. GPT-5 saying, I don't know. Hints model behavior philosophy around calibrated uncertainty. Interesting. Difficult skill for both humans and AIs. GPT-5 says, I don't know. Love this. Thank you. Short answer, I don't know. And I can't reliably find out. Thought for 35 seconds. Really cool. ChatGPT agent and where the VMs are US or London and an M dash with spaces. Is that improvement? Wow. I actually have no idea. What is M dash? A lot of people are saying M dash. Long horizontal punctuation mark used to create a strong break in sentence, stronger than a comma, less formal than a colon, and more dramatic than parentheses. Sort of extra information. She gave me the answer. Finally. Replace parentheses. We visited Paris, my favorite city, in spring. Create emphasis or a pause. This is it. The moment we have been waiting for. It's longer than an N dash or a hyphen. On most keyboards, you make it by pressing Option Shift. Wow. Okay. This made India today. That is an impressive response. I think so. Elon, I would rather have this than made up junk. Good question. That's the closest thing to AG I've ever seen. Interesting thought. It's certainly one big step towards an expert level AI. Very cool. David Haber, FinTech's next wave is software and infrastructure beyond unbundle the bank wedges, why it's high signal, clear framing of where durable value is accruing in FinTech. Even when I think about Elon, what is Elon doing? Like, how is Elon? Is Elon just simply scrolling his Twitter feed just like normal humans? I don't think so. Is Elon Musk scrolling X feed just like everyone? Or does he have a team surfacing relevant posts for him to look at? Actually, Elon might just have a very special feed. He might have a very engineered feed that he might have a very engineered feed that, okay, this is a Elon version of X. Elon's version of algorithm that just has all the fluff removed from it. And it's only focused on the highest relevant content on Tesla, highest relevant content on SpaceX, whatever. And it's built for him to retweet and like. So there has to be 100%. There has to be 100% probability that this is content that Elon will like literally hit like. He will repost, and yeah, that will be interesting. Approach to being content on X is different from the average user's experience of acquiring the platform. He laid off X's entire human curation team that previously surfaced trending topics and relevant posts. Real-time customized news for users, including Musk himself. This means Musk does not simply scroll his X feed like everyone else. Instead, he relies on AI-driven curation to surface relevant posts. However, he is highly active on the platform, interacts with a wide variety of accounts ranging from big influencers to small users, and personally replies, reposts, and quotes posts frequently, averaging over 100 public actions per day, according to a recent analysis. Does not have a dedicated team manually surfacing posts for him, but he uses AI curation instead of just scrolling the feed. Remains highly engaged directly with X content. Can I ask the same question to Grok? What will Grok do? No. Okay. Create the dash. So now Grok can, no, not this. I wanna ask you this. All right, Grok, go do your work. I'll see you later. David Haber. Fintech's next wave is software and infrastructure beyond unbundle the bank wedges, software infrastructure, where durable value is accruing in fintech. I went on Bloomberg TV to talk about how fintech has evolved and where the most important opportunities are today. How the first generation of fintech companies unbundle the bank with simple wedge products, and why the next wave is software infrastructure businesses selling into financial institutions rather than competing with them directly. Consumers should own their own financial data, not the banks, and why charging for access is really an anti-competitive move. Biggest opportunities often look like the most boring ones.
Or have the potential for a network effect, right? So a lot of fintech from, call it 2012 to 2018 were these style of companies. These were businesses that lead with financial product. And it got started by really unbundling the bank, kind of building a wedge, whether it's a trading product or a fee-free mobile-first bank account in Chime's case. And as they scaled, they kind of rebundled product to try to become the primary sort of financial relationship for an end customer. I think where I've been spending time, and I used to run the lending business, which wasn't a direct competitor of these, but was a very challenging company to lead, has been different, right? The types of fintech companies that I look for and most like investing are those that lead with software or have the potential for a network effect, right? So often selling into large financial institutions as opposed to trying to compete with them directly. And it's been one of the things that I've been spending time the last 4 years here at Attribution is just trying to bridge the gap between what's happening on the frontier in the startup ecosystem and many of these large financial institutions.
So, David, I have a question for you as well about one of the companies that we chatted about, which is Plaid, and kind of this interesting dynamic right now around charging. There were theoretically the negotiations are ongoing, discussions are ongoing, and the regulatory environment is a little bit uncertain right now. But the idea of charging for access to customer financial data, it was kind of an issue that was settled for a hot minute and has now sort of come back. I guess I would be curious about from your perspective, how does this discussion of kind of the banks sort of essentially like digging these moats around themselves to charge for this financial data? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so JP Morgan came out recently saying they want to charge the fintech ecosystem, I think, $300 million for access to consumer data. And it was done under the auspices of consumer protection and their own kind of cost structure to support this information. I think it's really just heightened the true attention, which is sort of an anti-competitive move. Right? Ultimately, Plaid, which again, in full transparency, I helped seed the company back in 2013, increasing their large investors in the business. So I have a strong point of view here, but Plaid ultimately sits at the intersection between the bank, a fintech application, and the end customer. Right? And so you play this sort of intermediate role. But ultimately, I think it's who owns this information, right? JP Morgan has a strong point of view that they own the information. I believe that consumers own their own data, and then we need more open kind of standards, for how people are able to share their own information with other, third-party applications. The analogy that I use often is, do you own the photos in your iPhone, or does Apple, right? Should Apple be able to charge Instagram for you authenticating access to your photos? I don't think so. Right? I think you ultimately you should be able to share your photos with any application that you want to connect to. And JP Morgan is basically saying, no, your photos are mine, and we're going to be able to charge their Instagram equivalent $300 million for access to your information. I just don't think that's fair, and I think it's veiled under this sort of threat of consumer protection and their own cost. But the reality is, data infrastructure costs have come down so precipitously, and we're talking about your account and routing number, right, in your transaction history. It's really not that sort of technology.
This is very interesting. I think this is eventually going to happen. Like, you also have to understand that crypto is already moving in this direction. So you are about to get, like, the world, the technology, the wave is already in that direction where people have understood that, hey, every single individual should own their data, should own their currency, own their data, own their messages, own everything, right? You should be owning your stuff. That's it. That makes sense. And you should be able to move around to services or platforms that serve you the best. So the world is anyway moving over there. So this makes sense. It is anti-competitive.
Technology intensive. And for many banks, they don't actually have real-time APIs, right? And so for the long-tail community regional banks, I think Plaid plays an even more important role in becoming a sort of like data utility and enabling kind of this ecosystem of fintech companies to build build interesting applications at the top of those products.
Aside from Plaid, are you seeing investing opportunities that kind of capture that theme of perhaps consumers getting their rights to whether it be data, finances, or maybe even iPhone photos back?
It's an interesting question. There's a lot happening in consumer fintech broadly, and I think AI is sort of changing the conversation here in a lot of ways. Maybe it's a different answer to your question, but my partner Alex recently announced an investment in a company called Salient, which has launched voice agents for auto loan servicing. Right, and what's interesting in this capacity is these are large non-bank and bank auto lenders that have very large armies of call center folks now using voice agents who can speak in 50 languages 24/7 fully compliant.
Okay, very interesting. Akash Gupta, 1 billion people will have personal digital twin by 2030. AI bet to exceed 20 billion before 28. Why high signal concrete market thesis with time horizons for consumer AI? Okay. What's giving me up at night these days? By 2030, over 1 billion people will have some form of digital twin, not sci-fi, a personal AI that remembers everything you do and acts on your behalf. The AI bet category will cross 20 billion in spend before 2028. Families won't just have dogs and cats, they will have AI companions. Within 3 years, 30% of all customer support tickets worldwide will be answered without a single human ever seeing them. A Fortune 500 company will declare bankruptcy because its AI vendor got compromised and every workflow collapsed overnight. By 27, AI-generated music will surpass human-made music streams on Spotify, not parody generally popular chart-topping songs. More than half of us teens will admit their closest friend is digital, not human. By the end of the decade, the first AI-run city pilot will happen before 2030. Utilities, traffic, zoning, all orchestrated by agents. A single person with 50 AI agents will run 100 million plus business in for 2 years. This will break valuation models. 70% of all new startups in 26 will be AI wrappers. By 28, 90% of them will be dead. Real estate will get a shock when buyers demand AI verified property histories. Entire markets will reset overnight. Kids born after 25 will never type a password. Identity will be ambient. Biometrics plus agent-to-agent handshakes. Kids born after 25 will never type a password. Identity will be ambient. Biometrics plus agent-to-agent handshakes. A single AI-triggered cyber incident will wipe 1 trillion plus of global stock markets in a day. 50% of white-collar workers will use an AI second brain daily, whether or not their employer approves. This should actually be way higher than that. AI-forced religions will attract millions. Some will look like cults. Some will look like billion-dollar startups. 80% of schools worldwide will ban generative AI in classrooms while students secretly use it anyway. The US will see its first AI-run political campaign by 28. Messaging, debates, ads, all orchestrated by agents. A celebrity's AI avatar will host SNL before 2030. The ratings will be higher than the human version. 25% of S&P 500 will quietly outsource core ops to our autonomous agent networks. Nobody will admit it publicly. 10 billion plus company will be built entirely on local first AI offline on device, no cloud. Privacy is luxury. Half of the world's GDP will touch AI somewhere in the chain. That's over 50 trillion. Voice will replace typing faster than mobile replaced desktop. Within 3 years, over 40% of daily computing will be voice only. Dating apps will collapse. AI matchmaking will replace swipes with multi-hour compatibility simulations. Wow. AI-generated lawsuits will clog the courts. By 27, agents filing, agents defending, humans arbitrating. How many do you have? Wow. Privacy is luxury. AI-generated lawsuits. At least one agent will hold a board seat by 2030, likely as a chief AI officer. Within 2 years, the first 1 billion SaaS will run on fewer than 20 humans because 90% of ops are agent-led. Traditional ad agencies will shrink 50%. AI-first agencies will dominate creative plus media buying. The default homepage of most SaaS products will be an AI copilot, not a dashboard. Reverse trials will become table stakes. 70% of top SaaS companies will start users on paid, downgrade free. Growth experiments will compress from months to hours. Agents will spin up, test, analyze, and ship while you sleep. SaaS flipping. Buy dying products, rebuild with AI, resell. Will win 10,000 new millionaires in 5 years. Product managers will split into 2 tracks, agent ops PMs and strategy PMs. The ops track dies out fast. Resumes vanish. AI crawlers will score your real footprint. GitHub, Substack, Twitter, YouTube in seconds. NPS dies too. Customer emotional telemetry from tone, chats, and calls replaces surveys. PLG modes evaporate. Every workflow can be cloned by an agent. Brand becomes the last defensible mode. 90% of onboarding flows will have an AI guide. Products without it will look broken. Retention metrics shift from DAO, MAU to tasks completed per user. Attribution wars will target agents, not humans. Did your agent recommend this or mine? More than 50% of all product roadmaps will be written by AI. Humans will just argue strategy. The skill gap between people who master AI tools versus those who don't will be wider than the Excel gap in the 90s. The window to build is massive, but temporary. 24 months from now, what feels like magic will just be plumbing. Whoa. 22nd August, 11 a.m. How is this thing just 4 likes? Thread of Apollo, Foam, Epic Games, productgrowth.com. An NYC helicopter into the city is cheaper than an Uber. This masterclass from Sahil and Logan will show you how to accelerate your velocity with AI coding agents.
For a boxes, but if you like ready, you like gauge it up and like start playing around. Agents could replace members of your team. The hottest startup for building AI agents right now is Lindy, and we have on the CEO, Flo Crivello, and we are going to show you.
This guy built an AI basketball coach with Gemini. Yeah, it's interesting. Why are people keep a healthy distance from people who leave you feeling da-da-da-da-da? Interesting. Yeah, went from product growth to everything. Check Dorsey, BitChat. Whoa. Location-based chat over Bluetooth relays. No servers IDs now with geo-hash chat. Wise high signal pushes decentralized proximity first. Social primitives. Now live on App Store. Location-based public and private chat over Bluetooth or decentralized relays. No sign-up email, phone number, servers, or ephemeral. Now with geo-hash chat. Fixed most of the Bluetooth reliability issues as well, especially with Android. City, region, country. 3K views. Apple App Store. We'll look at some Apple reviews. 16 people. BitChat mesh. Often communication into encryption, extended range favorites, local channels, mentions, no tracking, ephemeral identity. Hello, yo, location channel, street, block, neighborhood, city, region, country. Interesting. Chat with people around you. Don't need their phone number or email. The side group chat for any function. Use Bluetooth mesh. No internet needed. Relays messages to go the distance. Encrypted private messages. Oh, so there is a relays, which means, I'm guessing from what I understand, the relay is that if my Bluetooth is on, it will pick up the nearest Bluetooth to mine. So let's say my buddy over here who has his phone with Bluetooth on, and then it's going to pick up like someone else's on the top, and that's how it's going to spread around the city, around the country. Wow, crazy. Innovative, effective app. These features would make it better. Super cool app. Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Sort of location feature that you have. The option to turn on and only pops up in private chats. Then it would show the other user the heading you are facing with a compass and the distance you are away from the other user related to the amount of feet you are from them. Okay. Interesting. Almost perfect. The number are 0 for me. What's next? Nobody around. Very interesting. The Jack is now working on this. No state is the best state. And there are 3 people who is following. Who are these 3 people? Elon, Edward Snowden, and Stella Assange. Is Stella Assange partner? No. What is this? Stella Assange. Yes, she's Julian Assange's wife, it seems like. Yes. Okay, right. And when our media is corrupt, when our academics are timid, when our history is filled with half truths and lies, our civilization will never be just. It will never reach to the sky. Judah and I will attend the premiere in Cannes on Wednesday. Very interesting. Okay. The sun is getting straight into our eyes. All right. All right. Let's see. Check Dorsey. That was high signal. Store merit. Cybertruck qualifies for 7,500 MAEV rebate with federal credit net price. Wide high signal. Real world policy driven price shifts affecting EV demand. Okay. Soar Merit again. British Airways in talks to outfit fleet with SpaceX Starlink aviation connectivity upgrade distribution channel for satellite internet. Really cool. Airline has about 300 aircrafts. Accelerating across airlines. Sean, what does Sean do? XP at Cape Gemini. Founder, building something big. Alright. All airlines will have to use Starlink or become uncompetitive. Yeah, this time the airlines I had, I forgot which one. I think Porter. Yeah, Porter had free Wi-Fi, so that was good. But for every 30 minutes, you had to watch an ad. I think which is okay. But I think they can do that. That's how you monetize it, right? But you have to make the process simple. Just like it's like one button, it's on, and yeah, you can have that thing that okay, every 30 minute you have to watch a 30-second ad to keep going. I think the ad part is okay. Because there has to be a way to monetize this service, but the process has to become really easy. Because right now, what was happening is that okay, after 30 minutes, you're just like off, and now you have to do the entire process again. It shouldn't work like that. And if you want to ignore, if you don't want the ad, yeah, just pay the $10, whatever. I think yeah, ads are okay. Ads are okay. You just have to make the experience beautiful. And sometimes some people also make the ads beautiful, like Rick Rubin with his Tetragrammaton podcast. They are working on just making beautiful old school ads for every sponsor they work with, and that is beautiful. Like even AG1, Shopify, they're working on this very vintage like ads, which is really cool. British Airways in talks to outfit fleet with SpaceX Starlink. Okay, Michael Farrow. Fed cut impact on circle 99% of revenue from reserve income sensitivity to rate. Wide size signal clean breakdown of stablecoin issuer revenue drivers in rate regimes. How does a Fed cut affect circle? Yeah, I don't understand. We don't think this is helpful. So, company with revenue model significantly harmed by lower interest rates, up nearly 10% on news that Fed might lower interest rates. When TBP and investment banking. They make money on the spread between the interest rate they offer and the risk-free rate. This does not technically change their spread, but could increase volumes. Props to the costume designer on TVPN for this Easter egg. Schwarzenegger and DeWitt, only their mother can tell them apart. Today, Kimball and Jeffrey Katzenberg. Oh, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Polymarket odds of Fed rate cut pop. Nearly. Beanstalk. I won't be attending. Got booked for a different thing. Please donate my ticket to someone who can't afford it. CEO of Rich.com. Jackson Hole is Coachella for the Fed? What is Jackson Hole? Oh. Halcyon PR. Wait. Is this the Halcyon that I know? I know an Halcyon. What is Halcyon? Halcyon. What is Halcyon? How do we know a Halcyon? Halcyon Hot Springs. Halcyon anti-ransomware. Classical mythology. What are all the companies named Halcyon? We know Halcyon, anti-ransomware platform services. Halcyon company, formerly American media development company. Wait, is this the Halcyon that I know? Internet native comms. Okay. Ilana Nisonov and Aubrey Strobel, founder Halcyon, host The Observation.
Halcyon?
Sounds Chinese or Indian. Hal, meaning how y'all doing? Sion. I went to a high school with a girl named Sion. She was pregnant when she was 16. I don't know what it means. My lady, who's now a bosom buddy, or at least a buddy, maybe not bosom buddy, buddy, and tennis mate. She said, I'm gonna just open the dictionary to one word. And it was Halcyon. Crazy. Something good. Something productive. Like a halo. A wellness company, I feel like it's something like a clean brother.
It just makes me think of vomit or mineral, or like maybe a chemical.
For using Halcyon days, which I think of it to mean like the good old days, good times. Oh, yeah.
Happiness, great success, prosperity, golden. Halcyon. Describe an idyllic time in the past that is remembered as better than today. Enter the golden age. Cryptocomms. Conversation on the state of cryptocomms. S. Press O Martini Comsmo. What are the companies? A PubKey special. Halcyon and PubKey. Gemini. MoonPay. Okay, got it. So Keith Grossman and MoonPay. Okay, and Gemini. Friend NYC, come hang on August 20. The legendary Keith Grossman. Prisoner in MoonPay. Okay, board member. Former Time, Bloomberg, Wired, Ars Technica. We'll be talking all things crypto at PubKey with our friends from Gemini and Halcyon PR. Crypto PR is hard. Crypto has a comms problem. She joins Intangible Coins, head of firm-wide research. Why storytelling matters more than ever in Web3. Macro update. Intangible coins dropping soon. Okay. Chat with Blockworks. Interesting. Excited to launch Halcyon. Oh, very recent. Okay. Decade in crisis communication narrative strategy and partnering with to give this era credibility and respect it deserves. Okay, very interesting. Brian Kim. 11 consumer AI properties have made all 5 top 100 lists over 2 years. Why it's high signal. Persistent category winners signal product PMF durability. Now this is a game show worth hosting. Spoiler alert from our A60Z Consumer AI Top 100 coming out next week. 11 consumer AI properties have now made every one of our 5 lists over the last 2 years, ranked by overall traffic. Consumer AI properties have now made ChatGPT, Character, Perplexity, Hugging Face, Bowie, 11, Gamma, Leonardo, Cutout, Photo, Midjourney, Weed, Pix, Chubb, Clipchamp. What is Leonardo? Creativity unleashed. Leverage generative AI with a unique suite of tools to convey your ideas to the world. Community creations, as featured in Fortune, Forbes, Business Insider. Interesting. Nano Banana coming to Gemini. Wide section product roadmap leak tease hinting at multi-surface Gemini features timeline. What is Nano Banana? Going banana is a global phenomena. About to sneak into many Google products, including bananas and global. Watch this space. What does it mean? Looks breaking. Notebook LM. This is Josh Woodward, VP at Google, Google Labs, Gemini. Josh Woodward.
Gee, guys, I'm not saying he confirmed it, but he totally confirmed it. OMG. Guys.
Yeah, we don't know what is that. What is happening? Something's gonna happen. September 3rd. All right. Alexi Guzzi, if you want to help build superintelligence, join OpenAI. Recruiting tells about culture, ambition, signals, or momentum and focus. If you want to help build superintelligence, you should join OpenAI, obviously. Guzzi at OpenAI. Just beautiful future. OpenAI, newscience.org. This is not in response to anything I saw internally. I have been thinking over the last few months about the culture of Anthropic, DeepMind, XAI versus OpenAI. Everyone except for OpenAI is focused on the wrong things. Hypocritical, moral, grandstanding Nobel Prizes from Elon Musk. OpenAI is the only company that's actually focused on building superintelligence, and it's going about in a responsible way that respects the intelligence of the public. The XAI goal is 50 million in units of H100 equivalent AI compute, but much better power efficiency online within 5 years. We made it. Grok 4 is slow today. Heavy load. Fixing. How my views on AI changed every year. Whoa. 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 Young Eliza. Appendix. Doom resolution. AI is likely to kill us all. Hence, AI must be monopolized by a small number of companies under tight regulatory control. Hence, AI systems must have a remote kill switch. Hence, foundation model builders must be eternally liable for bad uses of their models and derived versions of it. Hence, open source AI must be banned. But open source is popular, so we are just going to say that we are pro open source, but also say we need some sort of regulatory agency to oversee it. We're going to scare the hell out of the public and the representatives with prophecies of doom, but we'll make sure to appear much more respectable than the most extreme doomers. To look even more respectable, we'll create a one-person institute to promote AI safety. We'll get insane levels of funding from well-intentioned but clueless billionaires who are scared shitless of catastrophe scenarios, get too rich too quickly, have too much time on their hands but should know better. We'll claim that the majority of prominent scientists agree with us, even though said scientists are an infinitesimal minority in the AI community. Language is primarily a tool for communication rather than the thought. 95 Theses on AI. Andre Karpathy, Jagged Intelligence. Reasons to dismiss my current AI takes. 22, 23, 24. Reading a lot of history and writing. potentially working interfaces and AI products intermittently, but eventually figured that my original desire to build them was based on feeling that LLMs are much smarter than they seem to me now. Early skepticism, AGI decades away to brief conviction of imminence, then back to nuanced skepticism, questioning whether AGI is even a coherent concept. Personally uses LLMs heavily only when coding, finds them great for in-distribution task coding, boilerplate writing, but weak for out-of-distribution work, deep learning, research, real writing. Characterizes LLMs as verbally fluent databases with high crystallized but low fluid intelligence. Neural nets are reasoning in the human sense, common failures to organization, quirks, reasoning traps reinforce that progress in neural networks may not directly imply progress toward AGI. Aligns with the view that we may see strong, narrow AI but not AGI for decades, loses AI FOMO. Speculates much brain computation may be chemical, whereas AI could slow conceptual science by incentivizing shallow, data-heavy work and diverting talent. Slow conceptual science by incentivizing shallow, data-heavy work and diverting talent. Interesting. Very interesting. Robin, solo founder's biggest challenge is psychological, not skill set. Founder craft truth that impacts execution, quality, and endurance. Biggest challenge for solo founders isn't skill set, IMO. It's psychological. Climbing average by yourself is challenging and much more lonely. There's no one to lean on who's as committed as you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This reminds me that I should share. Actually, I just comment solo founding. Solo founding, right? Yeah, solo founding. Interesting. Wait, Robin was from where? Yeah. Distributor of ideas, building speedrun. Writer of The Bird's Nest, Robin Guo, washed up head clicker. Okay. NY and SF, A Tale of Two Cities, a memoir on becoming. June 26th, The Importance of Vector Choices. Wow. The Cost of Hedging, The Paradox of Choice, Making Better Decisions. Where I am now. I made a choice to go on and on tech, and I'm committed to learning, writing, and building my way to success. I was a student of science, and now I'm a student of software. The nice thing is there are some transferable skills I can tap into. I have a background in biomedical engineering and healthcare, which proves useful for understanding the healthcare GTM and business models. Gaming has a lot of crossover lessons around growth, monetization, and design for any consumer-facing applications I look at. Both games and apps are really tapping into core human behaviors and motivations and incentives. I choose to go in on these areas not because it's safe. I'm actually at more of a disadvantage being non-technical and not from the Bay Area, but because I see fundamental shifts happening. Compound interest potential is massive, but more importantly, I'm committed. No hedging, no keeping one foot in just in case every day I'm not building in the right market is a day of compound interest lost. A wrong decision made with conviction is better than indecision and staying put. See you in SF. If everyone agrees it's the right hill to climb, the opportunity is probably already captured, or there's not that much alpha. One step ahead, not 10 steps ahead. They remember the actual climbing and are still in the trenches. Industry, lifestyle, culture, location, impact, then test new commitments against that list. Rank your own values: industry, lifestyle, culture, location, impact. Small daily decisions compound more than big yearly ones. Writing every day beats planning to write a book. Automate habits, decide once, then let defaults carry the weight. Conviction follows action. Prototype, ship, adjust. Thinking alone never closes the loop. Conviction follows action. Prototype, ship, adjust. Thinking alone never closes the loop. Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah. Robin, we're on the same path. Work hard once the hill is chosen. There's no substitute. When I was 24, leaving McKinsey felt impossibly risky. Now, having made that jump and many others, I realized the real risk was staying. I don't regret moving to LA or working in gaming and now working in VC. Sure, not all my bets panned out And that's life. And it's taught me a lot about how to make better bets and better choices in the future. You only gain wisdom through making decisions and more wisdom through wrong decisions. Leaving a job, moving cities, starting something new, you build the mental model. You learn to distinguish between real risk and perceived risk. You learn that the cost of a wrong choice is usually lower than the cost of no choice. The cost of hedging. My biggest weakness has always been hedging. Keeping options open feels safe, but it's actually the risky strategy. Consulting is the epitome of hedging. You can try new industries and verticals for quite a while until you make a real choice about where you want to dedicate time, and while you are hedging, someone else is committing fully and capturing all the compound interest. I see this constantly in founders now. The best ones aren't hedging. They are not keeping their day job while exploring the startup. They're non-flippantly jumping from idea to idea when it doesn't work. They pick a big market, make a bet, and commit fully. If they are wrong fast. Whoa. If they are wrong fast and can make another bet. If they are right, they capture all the upside. The opportunity cost of not finding the right hill to climb compounds silently. Vector choices pick the hill. Commitment choices climb it hard. Most people, including younger me, obsess over commitment choices while avoiding vector choices. Will optimize our morning routine while staying in the wrong job. Will work 80-hour weeks climbing a hill that we may not want to summit. At McKinsey, I was great at the commitment choice. Top percentile of my class, working late nights, taking on the hardest cases, but I was climbing the wrong hill. At least for me personally, consulting teaches you to analyze other people's businesses rather than build your own. And the leverage is wrong. You trade time for money, and your best work helps someone else capture the value. Better to have real equity and ownership over the things you build. The vector choice is hard because it requires admitting you might be wrong. Your values have changed over time. I choose to study biomedical engineering and work in biotech because of my love for science. The day-to-day of working in a wet lab or a big pharma co was not appealing to me. I chose not to study computer science because I wanted to work on real-life engineering. But now working in technology, it's definitely a crutch to not be as technical as I would like. Hindsight is intuition. Relationships compound. Some of the people I met back in college are now running successful startups or have become important executives at notable companies, and more importantly, your relationship with your family and significant grows and strengthens over time too. 10,000 hours matter only in markets still growing. The world's best Flash dev in 2025 earns nostalgia, not leverage. Every year in a central hub adds to your network in ways that are hard to replicate elsewhere. The people you meet, the relationships you build, and the roots you grow slowly alter your life in remarkable ways. Everything is compound interest. Every turning point in my life traces back to a single irreversible decision. I became a consultant at McKinsey straight out of college because I hadn't yet figured out what I wanted. It seemed like the smart thing to do, prestigious firm, good exit options, interesting work, smart people, but really it was a non-choice. I didn't know my own values yet beyond continuing on a good path. My values were actually other people's values, a mirror of what other people also wanted. I was randomly assigned to a consumer retail project, even as a healthcare biotech guy, and my manager on that project, Lena, was close friends with another manager, Sylvia. Sylvia happened to have an intern at Riot Games, left soon after to join the company full-time. I've grown up playing games my entire life. And so when working in big pharma, I was not fulfilling my inner calling. There was one choice on my mind. I got the job at Riot, gave notice, moved to LA, went all in my passion for gaming. LA is where I met my girlfriend of 4 years, none of which I could have predicted as a young, scrappy 22. My girlfriend of 4 years. So that means, is he 26 now? Young, scrappy 22-year-old right out of college. But here's what I have learned since. While my non-choice to work at McKinsey paid off, I got lucky. I happened to have set myself into the right place with a lot of smart people and increased my serendipity, but it was the conviction in leaving and moving and in taking a somewhat unconventional path that led me to where I am today. The most important skill I've developed over the years is making actual choices with direction, vector choices quickly and with conviction. Compound interest is a life mechanic. Every choice you make either compounds or it doesn't. Every day you spend in the wrong market building the wrong skills or with the wrong people is a day you are not compounding in the right direction. Take my move into gaming. Now looking back, I joined during the COVID bull market when gaming was the hottest thing on the block. The Quest 2 was making record sales. Investment into games was flourishing, and consumer spend in games writ large was at an all-time high. But it wasn't just hype. There was a lot of smart, talented people creating generational products like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3. And I spent 3 years going all in on that bet, built deep relationships, learned the industry inside out, landed multi-million-dollar deals, and led substantial projects for the company. But markets matter more than ever. No matter how hard you work, if the market isn't there, the compound interest doesn't always accrue. Gaming has been flat for the last few years after COVID. Massive layoffs. For those that stay in the gaming industry, jobs are less stable. Career progression is not guaranteed. Many years into might get cancelled at no fault of their own. That's not to say I don't believe in the future of games. I still play a lot of games in my free time. Cherish the friends and mentors I met and deeply appreciate what I've learned. Choosing what to compound matters as much as the compounding itself. Geography compounds. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. And it's really cool how he's listing everything out right now. The rich. Ageism in tech implies saving harder. Hiring bias over 40 is common. Why? It's high signal career risk management side for operators, founders. Just today we learned that young people are just more malleable and better with AI. Older people might not be as open to using AI. They are set in their old ways of doing things. So this is why some founders are betting on young people. Ageism is far worse than most people realize. If you're in tech, you should be saving harder for retirement than other industries because there's a good chance people won't want to hire you over 40. "43 years old, 15 years as PM, led teams of 20 plus, shipped products worth 100 million plus, recently laid off from a VP role, now applying for senior PM, principal PM roles. Way lower than when I was job hunting 5 years ago. Roles asking for 5 to 8 years experience, projecting me for being overqualified. Startup roles going radio silent the second they see my experience level. Interviewers literally younger than my PM career asking if I can move fast. Questions about whether I would be happy stepping back to IC work. Subtle comments about energy and needing fresh perspective. One young hiring manager asked if I could adapt to startup culture." Interesting. Yeah, what's the solution? The solution is to do your own thing. Like if you are a PM, if you have shipped 100 million plus products, I am guessing that you have made a good decision with your finances. So you definitely have made good decisions with your finances. If you ship 100 million plus products, your equity should be good. You should have money. So I think the best thing to do is you definitely have some conviction. You definitely have conviction. So go all in on your own thing and spend 1 year on that. And I think doing your own thing will build more credibility and partnering over there than trying to get hired by one of the startups that are all young people who are just playing with agents all day. Jeremy Stone, Joe Lyman's 2.5, our interview on Invest Like Best. Why it's high signal, rare deep dive from a significant operator with durable lessons. Wandering various streets, gathering the scattered pieces of their mind, on-screen remain abyss, awaiting the public release, alone and afraid, building alpha, school, and the future of education. Early release. Who is Jeremy Stone? EIC. How dudes start moving after getting an entry level role
Plus capital plus execution.
at a third tier PC firm.
Fucking anyone can do that. Failure. That's a secret. Just as much failure as possible, as fast as possible. Burn that shit out.
Well,
That's interesting.
I'm not.
Success doesn't really interest me anymore. It's too easy. Analysis plus capital plus execution. Fucking anyone can do that. Failure. That's a secret. Just as much failure as possible.
Failure is a secret. Failure is a secret. I'm doing more in defense largely out of love for our country in future. It's not hard to be totally defensible. SF, AS, lab, mimetic. We are cracked. Zero sum. Get the bag early. Defense, mission, stakes, persistence. Building another American century. Yeah, I also find it very cringe when people, it's like in crypto, people are like GM, and AI people are, they keep constantly saying we are so cracked, he's so cracked. Yeah, you definitely want to run away after a couple of times someone says that. Cameron Chow, coding Arvind Srinivas, Perplexity as daily cognitive workflow wides. High signal describes user behavior product market fit for AI assistants. Hey, this is really good. How I look every time Perplexity answers my wild questions. Can we get spaces its own model settings, meaning the ability to set default models for each space? Oh yeah, we read this today. There's something deeply spiritual about waking up every day, opening your laptop, going into Perplexity and just banging question after question about whatever comes to your mind. It's half luck and half intentional that the product is singular and giving that bliss. Why waste time opening laptop straight to Perplexity app on phone? Oliver Tipton, turn down Amazon Suite for crypto pathway from intro to Python to offer. Conviction driven career moves. Oh. I turned down an SV offer from Amazon to work in crypto. John Wong, much respect. Let's keep the train going. Recon's 15-month journey from discovering coding in college to choosing a career. Wait, is he young? Is he really, really young? Maybe. Yes, he's really young. Choosing a career in crypto over big tech. Got hooked on Python, dabbled in DeFi, NFTs, later committed to SV prep. Initially failed an Amazon interview and didn't land a summer SWE internship. Pivot to crypto. Joined a paid Bitcoin-focused Discord. Studied smart contract development auditing. Entered audit contest. Became increasingly crypto native, built projects and community, co-founded Campus Blockchain Club, launched personal crypto projects and created a wallet tracking tool, and led to a part-time SWE role at a startup. Attended ETH Denver, won the Uniswap track, realized deep happiness working around crypto builders, offers and decision points, secured a Gemini internship offer while also receiving a full-time bank data science offer, chose Gemini to follow conviction about on-chain finance. Received Amazon Suite offer after final round despite long-term pursuit of FANG, declined it to continue building DeFi products in Gemini's on-chain division. Converted to full-time on-chain developer at Gemini, and NYC emphasizes betting on oneself, taking risk and aligning work with passion despite perceptions that crypto is riskier. Choose the path that matches your conviction and craft. Be an artist and not a factory worker. And own your story. Hey, so true. So true. Especially living in Vancouver, I come across a lot of people who work at Microsoft and Amazon, and it's like the moment someone sees Microsoft or Amazon, it's like you have this idea that, okay, you put them into a bucket where you're like, okay, I might not hear about something interesting from you. Some will say choosing crypto was a mistake. They will say this safe road with Amazon would have pushed my career further. They will say crypto is vaporware. The beauty of life, though, is that your story is entirely your own, so bet on yourself. Every day I get to speak the language I'm passionate about, research market trends, and work alongside people who share the same conviction. More than anything, the journey has been about betting on myself, taking risk, watching them pay off. We gotta message him. Oliver. Oh no, Oliver. DMs are off. Alright, we get back over here. Funstrat Tom Lee. Dovish Fed has green light for small caps BTC ETH. Macro read through with actionable tilts for risk assets. Alright, no link. Whoa. Matched up the link. Ed City Fellowship in Patagonia residents and opportunities for frontier builders. Concrete programs for high agency talent in new cities. Theo. iMovie losing to CapCut Media, be media tools fumble of the decade. Consumer tool disruption, speed, mobility over legacy incumbents. T3.gg. Concrete shifts, model performance, platform deals, distribution, policy, macro, recruiting signals over generic motivation or memes. Tom Lee at Siri, Theo came from your feed pages captured in session where explicit post URLs weren't preserved. They're still included for the signal. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's saying that. Okay, sorry, I didn't get it. If you want, I can auto bookmark these 20 on your X account. Create a reading watch list with summaries in Google Docs. Auto bookmark is interesting. So this is like, yeah, this is interesting. Like it's trying to figure out that what all work I can do for you. Set alerts for updates on Siri, Gemini, Mistral, leaderboard moves, BA, Starlink progress. Okay. I just want to quickly check Theo, what Theo had to say. Theo T3GG. His posting game is unmatched. It's my birthday tomorrow. Wow. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Brian, now we're talking. Missing a bag of hot Cheetos. Very cool, very cool. You know that's him because very cool, very cool. Is AI creating nuclear weapons a real concern? Like there's no way this is in the training data. iMovie losing to CapCut might be media tools from another decade. I don't know what Perplexity meant over here. That some entries came from your feed pages captured in session. Feed pages captured in session where explicit URLs weren't preserved. I don't know what that means. That's too much English. Well, let's see what Twitter did. I reviewed the latest 150 posts from the X ecosystem, focusing on original non-reply content to simulate a general feed, as personalized feeds aren't directly accessible. Most were low engagement noise, spam, ads for services, random links, promotions, nonsensical strings, or low value personal blurts in various languages. I ignored these and prioritized high signal based on engagement metrics, content quality, informative, newsworthy, insightful, culturally relevant topics like crypto, news, entertainment, or thoughtful shares, avoiding ad spams, relevance and timelines, market updates, global events, pop culture. 50% qualified as high signal. Here's top 20. Oh wow! So when you ask this question to Grok doesn't just look at my feed. It looks at Twitter overall. I think it seems like from the X ecosystem. Bro, where's the link? Author, content, sector rotation in full swing. Bro, just give me the link. Why not the link? Bro, you gotta give me the link. Crypto sector update, DeFi leading market rally, outperforming others, layer 1, okay. Larry Bible verse emphasizing Jesus is the only path for forgiveness. Humorous video clip with a trigger warning, clapping appears to be a meme or viral. Geopolitical news, Kim Jong-un emotional over Russian plane delivering fallen North Korean soldiers. Artists, I'm sorry, what reactions? Wait, what? It seems like, congrats to performer. Wow. It seems like, oh, so here are the posts. Okay, so good point. You gave me all the posts over here. The Bible stats. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Perplexity did a way better job at surfacing. Perplexity did a way better job at surfacing high signal content from X than X's Grok, Super Grok. And it thought for 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and it gave me these guys. Alena Mew. Bro, you gave me this Happy Friday and some K-pop stuff. Buy Bitcoin Man. And you gave me this Happy Friday. Why are you still up? Wait, what? The request. Alright. Many posts are in non-English languages due to missing lang in the query. Let's rank posts by total engagement. Massive engagement. And it's looking for engagement. Wow. So Perplexity is... Perplexity did a great job. Perplexity did a great job. Okay. All right. Here are the top 10 highest signal posts where forecast review distilled from the latest 150 and ranked by originality, insight, credible links, engagement, quality, and timeliness. All right. Seb, 1 hour ago. Keen side deep dive on the new Zapper FC client. On chain plus social, 40 plus chains, trading, discovery, feed. Content is detailed. All right. Let's see. For those that haven't tried out the new Zapper FC client, I strongly suggest you try out. People are talking about what's happening on chain. Test flight Apple. Okay. Interesting. Get it. Nuanced take on trust. Single mistakes don't define people. Encourages independent trust calibration. Substantial original commentary. Thoughtful, reflective, non-trivial philosophy with community debate. A single mistake doesn't define a person. Some mistakes are worse than others, but I still generally believe that a single action doesn't define a person holistically. People are complicated with many facts to them, good, bad, and ugly. With that said, everyone should independently choose how they decide to trust others based on their own experiences, views, values. I love your spirit and think forgiveness is really important, not in a mushy way, but in the sense that the action of life is really complicated and sometimes we do things we really regret. At the same time, I do believe that there are certain actions which, when you look at them, they are so repellent that it's hard to trust anyone who did them, and if they happen to you, maybe impossible to forgive. Okay. Tyke. Base versus Solana ecosystems, value creation versus extraction, long-term trajectory analysis, comparative reasoning, comparative ecosystem analysis, and argumentation. Base versus Solana. Interesting. Yeah, no, if we were on Solana, we would be a 100 million project, but I don't care about the liquidity, frankly. Value creation more than extraction, slow cooks more than weekend god greens and devil reds. Believe it or not, actual startup benefit 100x by launching project coins on Base over Solana. They get time to actually mature, pivot as a company. Actual startups benefit 100x by launching project coins on Base over Solana. They get time to actually mature, pivot as a company. Base has patient capital, relatively more pragmatic degens, and lesser of this attention mania. Interesting, just to say it. I'm also not really sure that counterfactual is likely. There's definitely more pop and volume for coins in the initial launch of a Solana, but that doesn't really translate to longer term higher value. Expect for maybe memes. Comparing creator coins to project coins, they net out to basically the same, or Base having a slight upward bias. Interesting. Very good find from all the crap that we have. All right. Proxy Studio. Petank, Clanker launch, commentary ties market curiosity to personal story and collector thesis signal interest formation. Original market POV plus cultural context and strong replies. Okay, whoever launched a Petank Clanker, you may not want it, but you have my attention. Played it obsessively in France. Got plugged into interesting old French guys living in NYC who take Petank super seriously, seen as well. Anyway, I'm waiting to hear about your vision first, but then I'll bid or FUD. I don't know what Petank is. Petank. I think I've heard of Petank. Friday engagement behavior, analyze digital balance, implications for posting strategy, attention patterns, platform use. What I really like about Friday on Forecaster is that it's so dead for engagement. I imagine people are getting together IRL, touching grass, enjoying analog life. If this is you, ignore my cost, enjoy. Ignore me anyways, you probably would. All-season psychological framing, why disbelief persists, concise market sentiment, read with resonance. The greatest trick, Sid. Building asks Gina. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing you there wouldn't be an alt season. Alt energy. Somebody just said to me that, hey, you are posting a lot, but you are not replying. And replying is where things happen. So you have to become a reply guy. And I'm like, all right, you should become a reply guy now. So good advice. Let's see. Launch of MetaMask USD, self-custodial wallet, stablecoin notable, ecosystem development. MetaMask USD. Native stablecoin. Got it. Bridge. So Stripe company. Stablecoin platform M0. The fox is cooking. I'm really surprised. 34 likes 6 hours ago. Friday is really bad to launch. Studio civic kindness and feedback loop effectiveness norm setting for communities. Left an owner truck nicely, asking them to move it up a bit on their driveway to leave the sidewalk unblocked. Doing it ever since, so I decided that Friday should start with a note and gift from a stranger. Here's a token of my gratitude for being a nice person. Nice. Okay. So you actually appreciated it. I didn't understand. I thought he's saying like they never listened to what his request, whatever. Android performance improvements, call for feedback and user experience details. Okay. Faster Android. Gabriel Ayuso. Okay. The open web is dead. Long live the open web. Building Forecaster. Made a lot of improvements to your app on Android. Many of you should be seeing faster opens and sniper performance. If you're still seeing slowness on Android, please respond with a video. Clanker. Decaying fees to debtor bots. Technical mechanism incentive design. Technical product evolution. Oh. Okay, right here. 80% decay to 5% over time. Critique with Guardian style. Externships versus classroom experiential learning takeaways for student growth. Counterfactual coin launch effectiveness maturity over hype ecosystem incentives comparison. Token launcher learnings early strategies, repeat insights, slow culture rituals, and overview movement resources community angle. The slow culture movement began with slow food in the 80s, which inspired many other slow culture and simple living movements, including slow art, slow fashion, slow philosophy, slow journalism. Slow movement. Donica Swanson. Wait. I think I know this person. Danica Swanson. I don't know. Danica Swanson. Base Jones launch. Collectible audio frequencies with on-chain Wiz. Okay. Looks cool. Base Jones.fun. Very cool. Inspired by base colors from Jake and Phil Matley. Completely on-chain, including the frequency chosen, tone, name, waveform visualization, primitive universal sound. Now you can own your own on base. Performance limitations. Oh, sorry, platform limitation, not performance. Horse facts. Bot ethics price discrimination against automata in Clanker context. Nuanced mech design and ethics topic. Horse facts. Where's the thing? Okay, can't find. ETH all-time high timing celebration community emotion and cycle. Read sentiment signal around macro market movements. Energy for asset mobility. Conceptual reframing. Blockchains are energy for financial. They allow them to move in ways that weren't possible before. Okay, very interesting. Open any of the rank posts directly. Say bookmark the top 20 for later. Filter specifically for product launches, technical threads, or market analysis next time. Market analysis, technical threads, product launches. Interesting. Wow, 126. This is so cool that we spend so much time on this. But anyways, that's the stream. My eyes are hurting now.